A hidden Ferrari document just leaked, and it flips everything we thought we knew about their 2026 engine on its head. Why would Ferrari deliberately sacrifice peak horsepower in a sport where every single kilowatt matters? You're about to uncover the most daring hybrid gamble in Formula One, featuring a brand new combustion head, a compact turbo no one expected, and a battery system so radical it's embedded inside the car's structure. And here's the bombshell. Ferrari's engineers say they're 30 horsepower down but still faster in simulation than anyone else on the grid. When Ferrari's top-secret Proyecto 678 file surfaced, the paddock expected headline-grabbing horsepower. Instead, what it revealed was far more complex and far more shocking. Ferrari's 2026 engine isn't built to dominate with brute force. In fact, leaked simulations show they're projecting nearly 30 horsepower, less than Red Bull's early dyno targets. But that's not because Ferrari failed to extract power. It's because they chose not to. Their engineers are chasing something more elusive: total energy harmony. That means power when it matters, torque when it counts, and stability every lap. It's not the most powerful engine, but might be the most intelligent one. At the core of this philosophy is Ferrari's decision to reject the split-turbo layout, which nearly every other manufacturer, including Mercedes and Red Bull, is pursuing for 2026. Ferrari is instead doubling down on a compact turbo mounted directly onto the combustion unit. The idea? Reduce weight, lower thermal complexity, and preserve packaging freedom for aero purposes. Critics say it's outdated. Supporters argue that when paired with Ferrari's new low-turbulence combustion chamber, it unlocks smoother and more controllable energy release. On tight technical circuits, this could translate into devastating traction out of slow corners. But on long straights, Ferrari could be sitting ducks, and they know it. That's where their second major innovation comes in: the silicon carbide SiC inverter. This tech governs how electrical energy is deployed from the battery to the MGUK and recovered back under braking. Ferrari's new inverter, developed in parallel with a major automotive supplier, is designed to handle faster switching frequencies and higher thermal loads than any previous system. What does that mean in practice? More consistent hybrid deployment throughout a race stint, less battery degradation, and better throttle modulation under low-grip conditions. In theory, Ferrari could run aggressive deployment maps longer than rivals without risking overheating or performance drop-off. But none of that would matter without their most controversial design choice: a structural battery partially integrated into the monocoque of the car. Instead of treating the battery as a separate, heavy module, Ferrari has built its outer casing into the core of the chassis. This reduces overall weight and lowers the center of gravity, but it also raises enormous safety and repairability concerns. If the battery is damaged in a crash, the entire structural integrity of the car could be compromised. No other team is taking this risk. Ferrari's bet? That the performance gain in agility and packaging will be worth the engineering headaches, and that FIA crash tests won't kill the concept before it races. And then there's Lewis Hamilton. Sources suggest he's been deeply involved in shaping how this engine behaves, especially under race conditions. Unlike Charles Leclerc, who prefers sharp throttle response and aggressive deployment, Hamilton has pushed Ferrari to tune the engine for smoother torque delivery and rear tire preservation. The leaked energy maps show distinct dual profiles, one tailored to Leclerc's explosiveness and one to Hamilton's finesse. It's the first time in years Ferrari has truly built a power unit that adapts to its drivers. But it also means their software stack will be one of the most complex on the grid. One mistake in calibration, and their biggest advantage becomes a vulnerability. Even with all this innovation, Ferrari faces a brutal truth: they may lose the power war on Saturdays. Qualifying will expose their lack of peak deployment, especially on long straights. That puts enormous pressure on race strategy, tire life, and pit stop execution. Ferrari is gambling on control over chaos, but in Formula One, chaos is often the difference between winning and watching from P5. If Red Bull's override system or Mercedes' dual cooling loop proves reliable, Ferrari could find themselves fast over 50 laps, but still behind when it matters most. This is the high-stakes reality of their design direction: elegance over explosion, stability over spikes. And yet there's something haunting about their confidence. The internal report doesn't read like a panic memo. It reads like a mission statement. Ferrari knows they've built a different kind of power unit, one that doesn't try to outgun the field, but outthink it. In a regulation era where efficiency is everything and power alone isn't enough, that could be a masterstroke. Or it could be a tragic miscalculation that leaves Maranello answering questions all season long. Ferrari's design philosophy for 2026 reveals a team not just building an engine, but rewriting their identity. Internally, engineers speak of the concept not as a power unit, but as a drive harmonizer. The idea is to construct a system where combustion, energy recovery, deployment, and chassis response work in perfect sequence, reducing shocks to the tire, flattening torque spikes, and smoothing corner exits. But that harmony comes at a price. This system requires absolute precision in software calibration and cooling balance. Any disruption, thermal drift, minor sensor delay, or traction misalignment could throw off the entire sync, costing tenths of a second every lap. And in Formula One, tenths are the difference between pole and forgotten. Red Bull and Mercedes have quietly taken note. Engineers close to both teams acknowledge Ferrari's structural battery and SiC inverter could offer a consistent edge in energy delivery across a full race distance. But they also point out the glaring vulnerability: Ferrari's lower maximum thermal efficiency, especially in high-load, high-speed segments. Mercedes, with their dual MGUK mapping and thermal buffer strategy, believe they can match Ferrari's hybrid consistency without compromising on outright deployment. Red Bull, meanwhile, are betting that their ultra-aggressive energy harvest and dump cycle boosted by Adrian Newey's evolving aero package will allow them to outmuscle Ferrari on straights and DRS zones, even if they suffer more degradation over time. What amplifies the tension further is how Ferrari's power unit interacts with driver style, especially the contrast between Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Leclerc thrives on a car that rotates sharply and reacts instantly. He prefers aggressive front-end bite and isn't afraid to use the throttle as a balance tool mid-corner. But Ferrari's 2026 energy deployment model, especially under Hamilton's influence, delivers smoother, delayed torque ramping. It's designed to preserve the rear tires through gentle exits, not launch the car explosively. This divergence could lead to parallel development paths within Ferrari, forcing the team to divide resources to satisfy both drivers. It's a risk they've never managed well before, and one that could fracture unity if results don't come quickly. Then there's the FIA watching closely. Ferrari's use of structural battery integration is not explicitly illegal, but it lives in a regulatory gray zone. Any mid-season clarification by the FIA on crash tolerance, battery housing integrity, or mass centralization could suddenly invalidate their core chassis concept. Furthermore, Ferrari's SiC inverter operates at switching frequencies significantly higher than 2022 to 2025 standards, pushing thermal envelopes that might later be limited for safety or reliability reasons. If the FIA adjusts the legal operating conditions in 2026 even slightly, it could compromise Ferrari's entire advantage. They're not just playing within the rules, they're operating at the edge of what the rules even define. What makes this gamble so uniquely Ferrari is how deeply it's tied to culture. Other teams build engines to dominate. Ferrari in 2026 is building an engine to evolve. They are consciously stepping away from brute force and toward dynamic stability, believing that the future of Formula One won't be about who's fastest for one lap, but who's most complete over an entire season. It's a romantic vision, but one that doesn't always win championships. If Red Bull unleashes another Verstappen-led qualifying blitzkrieg, Ferrari's balance and consistency may still mean playing catch-up from lap 1. And if that happens, the narrative of stability over speed may become a liability. The internal pressure is mounting. Fred Vasseur knows this is a make-or-break campaign, not just for the engine department, but for Ferrari's entire competitive philosophy. If this engine delivers a car that can finish every race within striking distance and dominate high-degradation conditions, Ferrari might have finally escaped the cycle of overpromise and underdelivery. But if the power deficit proves too much, no amount of drivability will save them. The paddock isn't forgiving. Red Bull and Mercedes are not standing still. Ferrari's innovations may be praised today, but they'll be judged only by lap times when lights go out in 2026. And so we reach the key question. Can Ferrari actually win with this engine, or have they built the most elegant compromise in F1 history? The answer may not come in Bahrain or Monaco, but somewhere deeper into the season on a high-deg Sunday, under pressure, when strategy, software, tire life, and traction all collide. Because that's the World Proyecto 678 was built for. The long game, the full race, the future of Ferrari.